So with only a few hours remaining on Berserker from Keanu Reeves and team from Boom Studio, you see a lot, and I mean a lot of salt going around because this thing has been successful. Why? Because the comic book industry has been off the rails lately. It's because they create things no one is excited about. They treat their customers like garbage. Everything Keanu Reeves isn't, the comic book industry has been. And well, like I said, his success, it really ticks people off. What's been funny about this is that normally you would have a comic book creator falling all over themselves when statements like this were launched against the company and launched against creators on a title. But Keanu Reeves, he didn't respond at all. I've loved it too because there has been excitement. There has been success, and these people that would want to damage it, yeah, they're being left by the wayside, and you know what? Good riddance indeed. So hey there, so today we are returning to that wonderful, wonderful world of comic books to laugh at a little bit of that salt that's coming up, and there is a lot of salt coming up because again, Keanu Reeves and team have been successful. One look from the financials from the comic book industry tells you all you need to know about this saltiness too, where it comes from, why it is, because essentially these people, they have not figured out how to make money. Denigrating consumers, making terrible products, yeah, that hasn't really worked out for them. Looking at the numbers for IDW here, for example, this is third quarter 2019, they lost $1.5 million. Not a reduction, that's how much they made for the quarter. They lose money every single quarter, and they've said that it's the industry. So when you see a project like this, not only fly into the face of that narrative, but make money hand over fist, of course there's going to be some really, really angry people out there that will utilize anything, and I mean anything, to say, yeah, somehow, in some way, this thing is not backable. To give you an example of the kind of stuff that is being weaponized too, well, look at this innocuous thing where you have a delay on a project because delays, well, they happen. Berserker, Boom Studios delays Keanu Reeves' comic book series. The publisher has pushed back the series 4 months from its original release date. Keanu Reeves' co-created comic book series Berserker has been pushed back 4 months from its initial publishing date. Boom Studios announced that the series' first issue, number 1, will now ship February 17th, 2021. The issue was scheduled to debut on October the 7th. Boom says that the delay, well, it's because you're having a replacement with the series artist. So this kind of stuff, it happens, but you have people out there saying, yeah, you know this, it's either Boom Studios doing something terrible, it's out and out fraud, anything to try to cause this project problems. And what's astounding is that is the legacy the comic book professionals leave behind when greeting someone like a Keanu Reeves who could bring more eyes to the comic book industry and help their projects out. Instead of congratulating the man and congratulating the team of people who have paid their dues, by the way, well, here's a Bounding into Comics article telling you how all this has gone. The recent announcement of Kickstarter campaign, Boom Studios and actor Keanu Reeves' new comic book series Berserk has sparked an outcry amongst some comic book professionals. They believe the use of comic funding platforms is both detrimental to the health of the industry and insulting to creators. You know, because of course, somebody like Keanu Reeves, he shouldn't be able to utilize the same platforms that they themselves do. In fact, they've complained about this for months. Now, they give you a description of the comic book series, which we'll look at in just a minute. I also want to show how it's doing in these last few hours, but you notice the blowback here, and this was all the way from the beginning until now. However, in the light of the book's crowdfunding successes, and that's the key here, successes. Nobody would be complaining about this if this thing did not make money hand over fist. But when it starts making money, some members of the comic book industry have taken issue with Boom Studios' decision to use the Kickstarter platform for the series, particularly due to the studio's alleged history of underpaying its employees. Gail Gilligan, best known for her graphic novel adaptations of the Babysitters Club books, found herself, quote-unquote, absolutely cackling at the idea of a major comic book pub which has deals with Netflix and Universal hopping onto Kickstarter to fund their Keanu Reeves written comic book. And you can see that statement here, plus the addition, for some reason, page rate increases aren't in the stretch goals. Weird. And this, again, is a comic book professional greeting Keanu Reeves, that industry. Hey, I know that you're doing this book with Boom, but instead of wishing you success and hoping that this works out for you, yeah, we'll try to cost you a little bit of business because this is the place where we need to make our stand. And here's another one, too, utilizing the same type of talking points, no less. Giant Days inker Liz Fleming stated she, quote-unquote, was so furious about the campaign as she claimed Boom Studios paid her a rate of $20 per inked page during her run on the series, quote, and now they don't even want to pay for their own publications. You know, because, again, utilizing Kickstarter is terrible, and if you're working for $20 an ink page in a professional setting, yeah, you're being robbed. Why exactly would you ever agree to that? Quote, well, with Boom doing a bleep Kickstarter like they're not a massive company with huge pre-existing following and Netflix deals, it's a great time to remind everyone I was paid $20, exclamation mark, dollars US per inked page during my run on Giant Days. 20. Why would you ever sell your talent for that level? I am so furious. 4 years I spent doing everything you could imagine under the sun comic-wise for that company, making raisins, and now they don't even want to pay for their own publications. The calculation. I'm disgusted. Now, make no mistake, that statement is about paying your dues. Saying that Keanu Reeves didn't pay his dues. You know, I got paid $20 a page. I did everything under the sun. And, well, this is the way that they're going to do things now. Yeah, that has nothing to do with Keanu Reeves, and yet. That's the same thing as a statement like this. When people talk about companies not needing the money to put something out, isn't that a jab at Keanu Reeves as well? Former She-Ra, Princess of Power animator Kate F. asks, how is using a platform meant for people to kickstart projects they can't afford okay for a company who admits they don't need the money? You can see this here. I don't know about y'all, but I would really like an answer here. How is using a platform meant for people to kickstart projects they can't afford okay for a company who admits they don't need the money? I can only assume it's to pay their artists living wages in the future. Again, taking something that creates buzz and excitement, and instead of holding up the finger you should, you know, like a thumbs up saying, yeah, that's the way, they're holding up another finger. And, well, you can guess which one I'm talking about. She would go further on this, too, and say, quote, y'all ain't helping anyone by bringing on diverse creators for the clout and burning them to ash. And frankly, I think we're all pretty exhausted by it. $350K in one day for a project they knew would succeed and didn't need the money for. Despicable. They call this despicable because, again, it's successful. And they work in how somehow Keanu Reeves, well, you know, all of this that's connected there, it's against diverse creators. And this will be our last example here. I'm just so heartbroken by my experience in the comic industry, and that's 100% because of Boom. I'm extremely lucky I managed to jump ship into animation. Otherwise, I might still be trapped in a tenement apartment cranking out 22 pages in 2 weeks for maybe $1,000. You know what could happen? You could actually go out and kickstart something as well. But unfortunately for most of these people, they are so extremely unlikable that, well, they have no success. And anyone that has success, whether that's a Keanu Reeves at that level, whether it's someone like ourselves, you know, shameless plug there, at our level where we've made around $150,000, these people, they will take shot after you, trying to destroy your projects, destroy destroy your reputation and on because of jealousy. I mean, really, let's get it straight. It's all because of jealousy. I mean, really, that's what it boils down to, right? Jealousy and control. You can't gatekeep Keanu Reeves out because Keanu Reeves is much bigger than these people, and he does not have to placate them. He doesn't need them, and that's one thing that I love seeing here. You'll notice in the time that I've been filming this, too, it's gone over $1.4 million and will continue on. And this, it should be something that the comic book industry learns from, but they never learn. They never learn from earnings. They never learn that the people out there that are denigrating and on, they don't really matter. They haven't learned anything, and that's okay. I mean, honestly, I think they would label Keanu Reeves alt something or an N to the A to the Z to the I if they could get away with it. That's how crazy these people are. And I love it. I love the fact that there's success for something like this. I love the fact that there's excitement. And I love the fact that they can't gatekeep this out. But anyway, you tell me what you think about this. And as always, I do want to thank you. You make this stuff possible. That's what those folks forgot. That's what a Keanu Reeves hasn't. And it's beautiful. And if you want to help out our channel too, there are links in the description, including, here's a shameless plug, our comic book. But anyway, appreciate you folks, and we will see you soon. Thanks.